Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have some XRP news today. We have some banking news today. People better get ready psychologically, and I think people also, not advice, not financial advice, but I think it's wise for individuals to protect their value. Because if people, let's say, for example, I'm going to contrast two things. I'm going to make a parallel here. The way people lose their minds when crypto crashes tells me they're not ready for this huge banking crash that's going to come sometime in the future. They're going down. Over 300 banks have been reported to be exposed, at risk, however you want to phrase that, by professional companies. They're in trouble and they haven't been able to solve the problem as of yet. They're going down. So, and when that happens, what happened the last time? Let's go by the facts. They will lock people's money up in accounts. They will shut down those ATMs to stop bank runs because the people are going to panic. And that's what we're learning from all of these different situations that I'm gleaning, is that people panic so easily, even though they know what's coming. They still behave the same way. So people better prepare for that. We got some banking news today. That's why I'm saying it. They're ringing the alarms themselves. They're telling the people they're in trouble. So we have some banking news. We have some Bitcoin news, Solana. We'll end off with a little bit of gold news. Let's begin here. So this article is titled SEC versus Uniswap. Expert draws parallels to Ripple's SEC showdown. It says the SEC move against Uniswap echoes its ongoing legal battle with Ripple, drawing parallels that raise questions about the regulator's modus operandi. It says pro-crypto attorney Bill Morgan points out a striking similarity in the SEC's approach, noting that the agency's penchant for biding its time before swooping in on successful crypto enterprises. Well, number one, they're corrupt, in my humble opinion. Number two, it's all about money. Obviously, it's not about protecting anybody. I don't see how Uniswap was harming anybody whatsoever. And number three, you have multitude of judges saying that the SEC is abusing their power. All this is going to do is put more stains on the SEC. It's just a matter of time. I wonder who it's going to be to have to put the leash back on that dog. No disrespect, but that's how I look at it. It says XRP was 8 years old when the SEC sued Ripple. Sorry about that. I just got a notification, and there is an asset that just went to a very delicious price. See how I was reading and that popped up? It caught my eye. Anyway, that is the SEC way. Wait until they are successful and then sue them for billions. That's why I was just saying that. That's what I was trying to convey. Good job, Bill Morgan, because you just summed up everything I was trying to say in one sentence. This observation underscores a broader pattern of regulatory enforcement that has gripped the industry in uncertainty. Wasn't this obvious to you when, this is a quote here from Bill Morgan, wasn't this obvious to you when Ripple was sued in 2020? Leaving aside the lawsuits against the exchanges, this is the biggest attack on a single crypto project. Until today, top 20, but now number 22 since Ripple was sued. All right. It says, in the face of mounting tensions, the crypto community mobilizes in solidarity with Uniswap. I want all of crypto to win. Period. I'm not one of those other people that's like divisive and, listen, I want Coinbase to win against the SEC. I want Ethereum to win against the SEC, Uniswap to win, and crypto stand together and move forward. That's how it always should have been. So anyway, it says rallying behind the embattled exchange in a show of defiance against perceived regulatory overreach. It is overreach, 100%. When you have judges that are saying that there's abuse of power, it's a serious problem. Voices from within the community express concern over the potential chilling effect of the SEC's actions on innovation and decentralization. I'm more worried. I wouldn't even say worried. I don't worry, or I'm not concerned, but I'll say if I'm going to take note of something, it will be the impact they're having on people making money. The impact that they're having on people being able to buy houses, the impact that they're having on people being able to send their children to school, or for children to be able to move out of their parents' houses. People, when crypto is allowed to thrive, people are thriving. The economy is much better globally. but just definitely in the West, people are struggling badly in the West, and they're trying hard. The media is trying hard to keep that mask on. So the SEC has been the greatest injurer of regular people in the United States that I've ever seen in my lifetime, financially speaking. And I know because I saw what was happening before all of this stuff was going down when crypto was thriving. Then I saw what was happening after. This is highlighting the need for greater regulatory clarity and dialogue. Well, they're not going to have dialogue with you. You know that already. They don't listen to anybody. But let's move on here because I have a good laugh at their legacy system that is on fire. I do. I feel nothing for the enemy. And when they crash, people better be ready. And the new financial system will feast on their carcass. I know how that sounds a little bit weird, but you know what I mean. It's going to benefit greatly from the downfall of all of these different banks. I don't know when it's going to happen. I just know that they're letting us know it's very, very near and it's going to happen at some point unless they can remedy the problem. They haven't remedied the problem just as of now. So new financial system will benefit. Gold and silver will benefit greatly as well. So this article here is titled, first one, 1 year later, after SVB's collapse, California banks are back in the spotlight. They learned nothing. They solved nothing. They're going down. It says California lenders have outsized property debt concentration. Foreclosure filings are ramping up, raising risk of losses. River City Bank likes to boast that it's a mid-sized firm that thinks big. The Sacramento, California-based lender has doubled assets to about $5 billion in 5 years with real estate loans up and down. They learned, and here's not just they learned nothing. They had no solutions. They always knew this might be a problem, but here's the thing. They thought they were always going to get bailed out. FDIC was like, no. They had that program that the banks fed off of for a long time. That's why the banks didn't go down. They just closed that program a few weeks ago. That bailout program, whatever they called it, it was a bailout program. And then the banks tried to save face. Did you see those articles? Oh, well, we just couldn't help ourselves. It was such an opportunity, like as if you didn't need it. Yes, you did need it. We read the reports. The first reports were saying 200 banks were at risk. Then we read about 3 or 4 from the pro companies that specialize in this field that over 300 banks were at risk and overly exposed. Then there was that one report that said there was up to 500. Now that was an interesting report because I think the numbers, when we see that 300, I think they're greatly undersold. I think they're really, really cutting a lot off. They're letting some banks slide. They're underselling it with the 300. I think it's closer to that 500, but I could be wrong. But so you have articles like this coming out. Once again, if you want to check it out for yourself, this is a definite read. 1 year after SVB's collapse, California banks are back in the spotlight. So on Bloomberg, but let's go to this article here. I don't want to take too much time because I have more. Now, combine that. This is why I want to jump to this one. Combine that information with this article, which is titled Big Banks Warn of Uncertain Year Ahead After Mixed Financial Performances. They're having problems in more ways than one. That legacy system is on fire. But see, here's the thing with the mass media. They always point the finger to crypto or somewhere else. Oh, crypto. Look at crypto. Oh, look at AI. Then they point to AI. And look at AI. Distractions. When everybody has not everybody. When I say everybody, I'm speaking a particular way where I just mean a lot of people, right? A lot of people. A lot of people have their money locked up in these same institutions that may collapse. And when they do, once again, what did they do the last time? They locked up the people's money. They couldn't get money. They couldn't pay bills. They shut down ATM machines. Oh, yeah. Oh, USDC. Well, use stablecoins. They froze USDC because they had links to certain banks. So there's that. Is once again, why I said I think Ripple is going to be a big winner. People better not forget what the systems have done. But anyway, this article reads as such: big banks warned of a quote unquote uncertain year ahead after mixed financial results during the first quarter in an environment of stubbornly high inflation, which I told people inflation was going to stay up. It wasn't going to go down. And I also told people, hey, they negate energy and there's something else. Is it energy and food from the data when they're looking at inflation? It makes the numbers look so much better, doesn't it? But you can look that up for yourself. That's a fact. Then I feel like I had a piece of hair or something on my lip. That's what I feel like. It says high inflation and geopolitical clashes. JP Morgan reported a modest 6%. Wait a minute. So you have mixed financial results because of geopolitical clashes. So then so then we have to take into account how broken apart and fractionalized the world has become because of the West activity and because of BRICS nations also, right? So then this is not going to be reparable anytime soon is what I'm saying. You see where this is going? So they can't solve that problem. There's not going to be any reconciliation here with these geopolitical clashes, correct? So they're going to continue to have mixed financial results, negative financial impact on them because of this activity, which would theoretically mean they're not going to solve this. And that lends more power and credence towards them having some sort of crash at some point. Some banks are going down. This is why you had Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, a few others. I believe it was Jamie Dimon also spoke on this, that some banks, and I'm going to take what Janet Yellen said and paraphrase it a little bit because I can't remember it verbatim, but she said some banks may have to merge. That means they're going to go down. They're going to collapse. And then the big banks will have to absorb them again, which, wait a minute, when the big banks absorb those little banks, that the little to medium sized banks or whichever size they are, then when they collapse, it could be injurious to them. Now, that's something we discussed last year. But now we have proof because NYCB, whatever that bank is, they're one of the banks that bought assets from one of the collapsed banks and then it injured them. Ooh, see, we've been doing good over here at this channel. I'm telling you, we get deep with serious stuff that has far-reaching implications beyond crypto. See how we called that? It's all on video, folks. We called it. So anyway, so then there's a domino effect of what we're watching also, where these injured banks are forced, because remember, there's a certain number of banks at the top that they have like an obligation with the government to buy other banks that are dying, for lack of a better word. I don't know why that is, but they have some sort of obligation, some sort of deal. But when they do that, now we see that domino effect hits them also. It hurts them also. Not all of them, but definitely some of them. All right, so now it continues. It says JP Morgan reported a modest 6% rise in profits Friday, while profits at Wells Fargo and Citigroup declined. And Wells Fargo has not been doing well at all in a lot of different ways. It says, though both topped Wall Street expectations. Yeah, if you set expectations low, it's not that difficult to exceed them. Quote, many economic indicators continue to be favorable. However, looking ahead, we remain alert to a number of significant uncertain forces, unquote, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said, citing the certain activity, geopolitical pressures, right? High levels of government spending across the world and, quote, persistent inflationary pressures, unquote. Let's skip what Jamie Dimon is saying here because we heard a lot from him this year. I'm going to get to other people. It says, quote, the global economy seems to be resilient, unquote. This is some quote from somebody named Mason. Oh, Mark Mason, Citi's chief financial officer. If you're saying that, Mr. Mason, then it shows me why your company is doing terribly. There's no way any person who's not delusional thinks the global economy is resilient. Europe, they're suffering in Europe. Germany is in a recession. The biggest economy in Europe, Germany, is in a deep recession. And they have a lot of tension going on within Germany as far as what they show us on our media here. I don't know if that's true. It's what they're showing us. Europe as a whole is suffering. China is suffering. Japan is suffering. The United States definitely is suffering. I could go deeper into that, but I don't think I need to. I think people understand that. The base layer of people in the United States have been just decimated. So what do you mean when you say things like the global economy seems to be resilient? I get somebody, I know I've seen these comments before, where they're just going to talk about business. Really, you want to talk about business? Business is good. Business is booming. That's why they have to keep raising the prices, right? They have to keep raising the prices. And number two, they have to pretend to be doing well by putting out ghost job postings. I talked about this about a year and a half ago, where it makes them look healthy, but they're not really healthy. They pretend like they're hiring, so it looks good in the data, but they don't actually hire anybody. Is that healthy? That's good. That's good business, huh? Right. Okay. To each his own. It says here, JP Morgan, the nation's largest bank, earned a profit of $13.4 billion or $4.44 a share. Compare it with a profit of $12.62 billion or $4.10 a share in the same period a year earlier. All right, let's scroll down here. It says Wells Fargo issued its first earnings report since the Biden administration eased some of the restrictions on the bank after a series of scandals. They've had a lot more scandals this year. I'm going to tell you that right now. Holy smokes. I wouldn't touch Wells Fargo with a 10-foot stick. It says Wells earned $4.6 billion. I really don't care what they earned, honestly. It says the San Francisco bank said average loans fell from last year. Unless it's one of our banks that we're going to take a lot of capital from with the new financial system, I'm not really concerned. It says average loans fell from last year, first quarter. But that drop off was expected because of elevated interest rates, which are going to stay elevated, like I said. No cuts. It says in February, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, one of the regulators of big national banks like Wells Fargo, terminated a consent order that had been in place since September 2016. The order, which came after Wells employees were found to have opened millions of accounts illegally in order to meet unrealistic sales goals, exposed. Oh, they're doing so well that you have things like this going on. They're opening accounts illegally. We heard from another bank that an executive stole $2 million from its clients, an executive. What's going on? This is the system that's doing so well. This is the system that people praise. This is the system that they say is better than crypto. They stole $300,000 from an elderly woman, $30,000 from another lady, $15,000 from a gentleman. These are all the reports what we've been reporting on over the weeks when we do those bank chapters. Anyway, I'd be careful with these banks. I'm telling you right now. That's why a lot of people are going to gold. They're getting gold cards or they're buying gold bars, protecting their value that way. They have it concrete in their hand at their house in their safe. I don't know, somewhere. And they are taking their destiny into their own hands because you can't trust these banks. It says require the bank to overhaul how it sold financial products to customers and provide additional consumer protections as well as employee protections for whistleblowers. Yeah, because they come after whistleblowers with the guillotine. Citigroup, I wonder why. Citigroup, and that's in addition to all of the different data leaks. All of these companies have their, a great majority of these companies have people's information floating out there on the dark web. They're all getting hacked. It's unbelievable what's going on. But they'll tell you that like 2 months later when there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's already too late. Oh, my word. It says Citigroup profits dropped 27%. We're going to feast on these people when the time comes. In my humble opinion, there's no guarantee. But if the new financial system does what it's supposed to do, when the time is right and we have clarity, we win this court case, there should be theoretically no reason that we don't absolutely feast on what they have left on the table. We will take the throne. That's how I just personally feel. You could feel different. Citigroup profits dropped 27% from a year earlier. And that's who we're supposed to listen to. That's who's giving a quote here talking about the global economy. I would look, stick to your bank. That's how I feel. Stick to your bank because you're not leading them well. So there's no way I'm going to listen to you about the global economy that I watch every single day with an eagle eye. I do a lot of different business. I speak to a lot of different people that expect me to inform them. And I tell them the raw truth. And there's no way I'm going to tell them, hey, the global economy is doing well. What I'm going to tell them is the truth about it and say, protect yourself. But he doesn't want you to protect yourself. You know what it is? A lot of these individuals, they want to take advantage of the people. That's why you got to be careful. Anyway, there's a lot of wolves out there. Some of them blend in very well. Some of them don't. So now we're going to go here. We're going to cover a little bit of Bitcoin news. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm very excited about Bitcoin because I know what's going to happen. I know what's happening right now. The setup. You're watching the setup. In my humble opinion, I could be wrong, but hey, I feel very good right now. I do. It says here, crypto analyst predicts Bitcoin buildup before breakout. That's what I've been saying for a long time. I told you, it's got the rubber band. It's getting pulled down and then boom, it goes up. But the pendulum swings equally to the left as it does to the right. Remember that, equally to the left as it does to the right. Now, the left typically, like I'm talking about, this is like ancient thought here, okay? The left is typically identified with the negative. Don't think negative as like the typical human negative, like bad. No, just think of it as negative as the opposite pole to positive. It starts that way, like at 0, it pulls that way, and then boom, it goes the other way. But it swings equally to the left as it does to the right, which means if that rubber band's being pulled down, where does it go? You know, and I think it's really fueling up. I do. It says here, a widely followed crypto analyst says Bitcoin is busy accumulating for another breakout. I agree. I don't know if this is going to be the big one. I think the big one comes later, but we shall see. Crypto trader Michael Vanderpop tells his followers on social media platform X that gold and Bitcoin are on their way to new all-time highs. Yeah, but for very different reasons. And, you know, I've been saying for years gold was going to skyrocket, and it did. But we saw all the catalysts are there, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change. I covered an article the other day on China is still buying gold. The central banks are propping gold up. The people, this is the one time where the central banks are actually doing something good for the people that are in the know. It's just the problem is most people don't know that gold is, you know, was going to be so good, you know, and it's probably going to go higher. They don't know that, you know, but it's very beneficial to those of us who bought gold so low that it will blow people's minds today. So anyway, yeah, gold for a different reason. It says, quote, Bitcoin, and I think when gold goes up, it's not going to come back down to the levels that we saw 2 years ago. I don't think so. Quote, Bitcoin looks like it wants to build up before another breakout. Gold continues the rally towards new all-time highs as well. And people forget about silver. They forget about platinum. They forget about palladium. That's a little bit different. And there's another, I want to say it again. There was another commodity. People have no idea. The commodities industry is going to be looking so good. Commodities market industry, the market is going to be looking so good on a multitude of levels. There's another commodity people are not talking about that's super bullish. Like, and they're going through some problems, and that's why it's super bullish. And it's not gold, it's not silver, it's not platinum. Let's go here. It says Bitcoin is worth, well, at the time of this article, 69,000. I don't know what it is now. It's probably lower. I would think it's lower right now. Let's go. Actually, let's take a look at the price. Why not? Let's go to, bear with me 1 minute. Bitcoin current price. 62,000. That's what it's saying here. 62,000 and it's going down more. I love crypto. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh man, like crypto will go up. It's like it will go up so high and then it will just boom, it will go down. And then the people, it's the same thing every time. The people will panic. They panic and then crypto skyrockets again. You got to just start getting used to it, you know, but that's crazy. I mean, that's just a heck of a drop, and it's like crazy because still there's one asset I wanted to get more of. And I'll be honest with you, I wanted to get at least 130,000 to 200,000 more of that asset. And even with everything being down as low as it is, it's still not low enough for me to get a delicious price because I got in so low on that asset, but we shall see. We'll see what happens. Right now, it looks like it's consolidating. It went up a little bit, then it went down again. So it's consolidating, but it's just a pullback. Healthy correction, healthy pullback. And holy smoke, wait until it takes off again. But let's go back here. All right, let's go back here. So now, why do I feel like we skipped an article? Okay, that was the Bitcoin article. Let's go here. We're going to go here. We're going to move on. I want to squeeze in all of this news. So now I want to cover this because we haven't covered the housing market in quite some time. I do different stuff at different times. I try to take breaks because it can be psychologically draining to cover the same stuff all the time. But XRP is different and Ripple is different. They always have something different going on and different activities, court case updates. So it keeps it fun. But some things I have to take a break from because it can get a little bit boring. But we're back to the housing market. We'll probably get back to T-bills and bonds and stuff like that later this year. But this article is titled, "Who is buying a house in this market?" I don't know. But somebody, I'm telling you right now, people are. They're, not a lot of people, but there's some people, they're buying very, very expensive apartments. Let's get that out of the way. Very expensive apartments. And everything's how it is now. Everything's a luxury apartment. And then there's some people buying houses. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm telling you what I'm seeing with my own eyes, But anyway, this is what it says. The median payment for a new purchase has doubled since 2021. That's why I said what I said. Doubled. Mortgage rates. This is why all those, there's so many people being reported as living home with their parents again, families coming back together and pooling their money together, they can save a little bit. It says mortgage rates were back up 7.4% this week. Nationwide, housing prices are still at all-time highs and up around 50% since the end of 2019. There has been this feeling of something has to give for a while now, but nothing is giving. Well, all of which begs the question, who in the H, I'm not going to say that expletive, is still buying a house in this market? National Association of Realtors has the answers in their latest home buyers and sellers generational trends report. Demographics are still in the driver's seat. Millennials are the biggest cohort of buyers with 38% of the total. Really? That's interesting. Okay. It says here, baby boomers are next in line with 31% of purchases. I know it seems like it would be an impossible market for first-time home buyers, but they make up 3/4 of the young millennial cohort. Yes, but here's the thing also. I'm just going to go by, information that I've read. A lot of so-called millennials, they're very good at saving money. Just pay attention to that. They're from that generation. They know how to save money. They know how to work hard. They learn from the other generations before them. And they know how to go after and get what they want. So that actually, when I think about it in that way, it doesn't actually surprise me. And baby boomers, do I have to say anything? I mean, they worked hard for what they have. They saved up very well. They know how to allocate and reallocate their funds to get what they want. So that also doesn't surprise me. It says 1/3 of all buyers of late have been first timers. Nearly half of the 34 to 43 age group also purchased their first home. To be fair, 24% of younger millennials receive some form of help from a relative or friend on the down payment. But 24%, that's not that bad. That's a huge percentage that didn't have that help either. All right. It says, here's the breakdown of buyers by income levels. All right. We're not going to go. That's a whole lot of heavy information there, but you can check out the article for that. Surprisingly, 44% of buyers make less than 6 figures in income. Really? Wow. Okay. Which is essentially the household median. Most home buyers still view housing as a good financial investment because it is. What are you talking about? It is. Nearly three-quarters of buyers think housing is as good or better than stocks in the long run. My guess is stock returns will be a much higher hurdle rate from current housing price levels, but who knows? More than 70% of the houses purchased were built before 2004, and more than half were built prior to 1988. If mortgage rates ever come down, there will be a massive boom in HELOCs and cash out refis, fueled by all of the pent up home equity sitting in houses right now. It says, I'm bullish on renovations for the remainder of this decade. That makes a lot of sense to me. That makes a lot of sense. And I agree with that. It's also worth pointing out that there are probably more housing transactions going on right now than most people would assume, given the pricing and financial dynamics. Okay, that's a great article, actually. So let's see. We have a Solana article left. We only have 3 articles left. We're going to squeeze them in. Why not? We're going to squeeze them in. I'm going to give you every little bit that I can here. So now, once again, shout out to the members only section because they make all of this happen. This channel would not exist without them. So thank you to the members only section. This article is titled Solana falls by 10%. But here's how. Solana is still beating Bitcoin and Ethereum. Says Solana has been gaining massive popularity over the last few days, despite recording a surge in price over this period. Despite recording a surge in price. When was this article written? Wait a minute. Written on April the 3rd. It's written today. A surge in Solana's price. What is Solana's price right now? That's what I need to know. Because they may have written it the day before. Hold on. Solana's price. We're looking up a lot of prices right now because I need to know. Solana's price currently. Bear with me, folks. We're going to look it up right here on the spot. What do they mean a surge? Let me see that chart. Can they provide a chart? Solana's live Solana price is $138 right now. Let me click on this, see if they give us a chart. I just want to see. What is he talking about? There was a surge. Maybe there was a typo and he didn't mean that. That's what I'm guessing, but I'd like to see it for myself. And the chart is not popping up, folks. It's not popping up. It says on the 1 day it's minus 16%. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I see. So it did go up a little bit at one point. Not enough. I mean, I guess technically you could call that a surge, but that's not. I wouldn't call that a surge. I wouldn't call that a surge at all. So it went down dramatically, just like everything else. And then it went up a little bit, in my humble opinion. That's what I would have said. It went up a little bit. Nothing significant, in my humble opinion. It's not significant enough to call it a surge. But now I'm just being semantical now. Let's get on with it, Alphanim. All right. So let's scroll down here. It says, and yet Solana outperformed both of these networks in the NFT sector. Okay, so that's all you had to say. In fact, recent data indicated that Solana had the highest number of NFT traders, amounting to 488,000. Moreover, the total number of NFT transactions occurring on the Solana network was also extremely high and added up to 6.2 million. Wow. And that's, you know what's scary? Even though crypto has had its highs. It's not as high as it could go just yet. But even where it has gone so far, the NFT sphere has not skyrocketed yet. And I anticipate when the bull run really is at its peak, that's when NFTs will start taking off again like they used to. But this time it'll be based on serious projects, serious artwork, and other things that can be utilized as NFTs. All right. So now, you know what? I had a guaranteed income article here. Let's cover it. Why not? This article is titled Guaranteed Income Program Expands as Government Prepares to Hand Out Cash in Major U.S. City. Remember I was saying that this was going to spread, it was going to expand, and now we see it. Every time they do something and they start small, even if they don't say it's going to expand, just know that they're testing it out. If it goes successfully, then they're going to expand it. So then the question is, in the future, how big does this universal income thing get? How big? And especially now with them automating warehouses, there's fully automated warehouses now. There's fully automated truck yards now. There's fully automated port sections now. Machines do everything. AI runs everything over there. So, I mean, I guess if that's going to expand, then they're probably going to have to give people more money, just hand out money at some point. But I mean, how does that affect everything, everyone, life as we know it? It says one of the largest guaranteed income programs in the U.S. is preparing to hand out more cash. The Denver Basic Income Project, DBIP, is extending its $1.8 million pilot program for another 6 months to give as much as $1,000 to 660 participants selected for the expansion. So still not that many. They're still just testing it out. The program initially picked 800 beneficiaries and separated them into 3 cohorts. The first group is collecting $1,000 per month for a year. The second group received a one-time payment of $6,500 and then $500 for 11 months. The final group, tagged as the control group, is receiving a flat $50 per month a year. With the program expansion, control group participants are set to receive an additional $100 for 6 months, while members of the other 2 groups will get an extra $1,000 per month for half a year. I would like to know who they chose. Like, what were the criteria? Are these people that really need it? Are these elderly people that may have some health problems? Because there's people that could really use this, but they're not saying who these types of individuals are. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. All right. So I just wanted to put that on your table. And there are bank coins that are connected to universal basic income, right? So now let's close out here with a little bit of gold news. It still blows my mind that people are buying gold bars from Costco, right? But hey, you get it how you can get it, right? And they have some good quality gold too. I was surprised. Anyway, this article is titled Costco's $2,000 gold bars are the new $1.50 hot dog. Yeah, because they're getting smarter, right? Financially. And they're snapping up gold while they can at reasonable prices, because gold is probably going to go much, much higher. And they're protecting their value themselves. It says gold is a hot commodity lately. Spot prices hit a peak this week, attributed to geopolitical jitters and uncertainty about a potential Fed rate cut. These are traditional inspirations for a gold rush. Also, they forget to report China buying record amounts of gold still, and as well as others. But these days, potential gold bugs have a venue other than the usual markets. Costco. Yeah, it's AppMex for me. I'm a traditional gold bug. Love gold for a long time. I'm going to stick with AppMex and other, sellers of gold that I've been used to. The discount club chain has seen its share price jump 46% over the past year on rising sales and a recently boosted dividend. Last summer, it introduced a bullion to its familiar sprawling mix of huge jars of mayonnaise, bulk toilet paper, and other jumbo versions of grocery and household staples, selling for around $2,000 per ounce. And a good chunk of its shoppers have taken a shine to it. Oh, yeah, I know they love that. I know they love that gold. Yeah, I know it. Besides it being just a great store of value and you're protecting your own value, it's pretty. I like the way gold looks. You listen. Listen. When I was little, I used to watch the show DuckTales. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was Scrooge McDuck swimming in all that gold like it was water. I don't know. But gold was always painted real pretty to my generation. So yeah, we tend to like gold a little bit. It says selling for around $2,000 per ounce, and a good chunk of its shoppers have taken a shine to it. Wells Fargo recently estimated that Costco may be selling $100 million to $200 million in gold bars a month. All right. And then they have a little gold bar. It says Pamp Swiss. It's Pamp Swiss. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, they got some. Costco, you're doing good. You're smart. You're doing smart business. They got a little Pamp Swiss bar here. Blind Justice bar. So that's an eye-catching number, given that Costco reported $100 million in gold bar sales for the entire quarter ending last November. Quote, aggressive pricing and a high level of customer trust, unquote. It's like they're selling legit, very good bars of gold. Like, I mean, the customer doesn't have to trust much. It is what it is. It says have boosted sales since then. Wells Fargo said in a note to investors cited by CNBC. So, now that you have that information, what are you going to do now? And until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.